KUGAN CASSIUS for Eiffel TV in association with Macklin's in Marbella. With me, I've got promoter Frank Warren. How are you, Frank?
I'm all good.
Yeah.
All good, mate. A little bit of a back problem, but okay.
We're going to try and get through it with the back problem.
We'll do it, mate. We'll do it.
Obviously, this week was meant to be Terry and Terry.
No.
So we've only got a month to wait, 12th of March, and that show's really stacking up well now.
Well, I suppose that, it's the old story, isn't it? Out of bad comes good, and the fact that we've got Rigondu on there now, or Rigondu, fighting against Jazza Dickens, that's brilliant news. I mean, I think that's a great fight for Jazza. It gives him a chance to hopefully upset, be an underdog, but cause an upset. I hope he does. But it gives, more importantly, gives the British fans a chance to see Rigondu over here, and he's the fighter that everybody's avoided. Scott Quigg and Frampton have avoided him. They've been now ordered. The winner of that fight's got to fight Rigondu. So if you want to see the guy who's going to fight the winner, be in Liverpool or watch it on BoxNation.
I mean, obviously, regarded as one of the most avoided fighters. And
in the Who Needs Him club.
Yeah, okay. But some people have sort of said, what's in it for Rigondu to come over here to fight Jazza Dickens?
I think he's making a statement, isn't he? He's coming to the British fans saying, listen, these guys have avoided me, I want to fight them. That's what I'm here for. I'm a fighter. That's what fighters do. You can't, at that level, eventually you've got to fight the guy. So it's good to see the two Brits are getting it on, and that's fantastic for the game. And it'd be great for the game too, that the winner fights Rigondu.
I mean, in your experience with, it's easy from the outside world to sort of, when we hear fighters, why fights didn't happen, sort of blame management teams and trainers, etc.
Most fights don't happen because of fighters. They don't want it. They either want it or they don't want it. That's the bottom line. I know my years of dealing with fighters. There's certain fighters that don't even care who they're fighting. What's his name? Oh, I'll be there, and that's it. You can have a conversation like that. And there's others that are not like. All people are different, and some fighters just don't want fights to happen for whatever reason. And we'll go into a minute about with the Billy Joe situation and Eubanks. But most of the time, it's the fighters that stop it from happening.
But there are fighters, like you said, that will just
yeah, of course there
offer to them regardless of what it is.
Don't care. Billy Joe Saunders is that type of guy. Bill, who is it? How much am I getting? Right. Is that it? You do the deal for the money? Right. I'll be there, and that's it. There's a few guys that I've been involved with who've been like that. Derek Chisora was like that. Fight anyone.
So, regarding the Billy Joe Saunders thing, obviously we know yesterday it was announced from Hennessy Sports that 26th of March, Nick Black will defend his British title against Christian Gage Jr. So, obviously, where does that leave, or where did that leave?
Well,
in negotiations?
we did start having talks again with Eubank's team, his management team, his representatives, but unfortunately, we can't do the deal. It's very simple. Make no bones about it. Bill was not particularly bothered about giving him a rematch. For me, it would have been a good fight to make, but there were certain conditions, and unfortunately, we couldn't agree terms. And that's it. And it's really stupid. I mean, because when you look at it, it's, you've been guaranteed fights had he won him. There's a rematch clause. There's a couple of other fights that I would want to put on if Eubanks had won, and because we've invested a lot of time, a lot of money in that division and getting Bill to where he's at. But it's not to be, and it's crazy. You wonder where their ambitions are. I mean, world title fight, British title fight. What does that tell you? That's a big message to the fans. That's a big message. I want to fight Billy Joe Saunders. Well, here's your opportunity. No, but I'm going to fight for the British title instead. Nothing against Chris Blackwell. He's
Nick Blackwell.
Sorry, apologies. Nothing against Nick Blackwell. He's a decent fighter. I think he'd give Eubanks a good fight. But you're being offered a world title, and you go and fight for the British title. It's crazy stuff.
So do you rule out?
It's done.
The rematch for the summer.
We're done. No, it's not. We can't. We've got to move on. Billy Joe Saunders not only, gave him the opportunity to get himself into a position to fight for a world title, and he lost. And we offered him a rematch last summer. what's he done since? Chris Eubanks Jr., if he were to look at that deal we offered him last year, and had he win or lose, it was a huge sum of money he would have got, plus there was a loss clause for him, so there was a comeback fight for him, or a win. If he won, he got obviously a lot of money. He's thrown away over 7 figures in purses. Thrown them away. He should look at what he's earned since then and look what he's earned now. That's the bottom line. Look at your bank account. This is what you should have had. This is what you got. And you're doing the same thing again. It is madness. Total ridiculously badly advised. And at the end of the day, if he wants to fight, he's the fighter. He should put his foot down and say, I want it, and let's get on with it. Because I'm getting well paid. If I win, I'm getting well paid. If I lose, I'll lose. Get on with it. It's ridiculous. I've never known anything like it. It's all talk and it's actually, when you look at it, it's like, you think to yourself, where are you, how do you expect the fans to get behind you if you're doing things like this? You're going to fight for the British title. You give up, you get stripped of the interim world title to go and fight for the British title. Now you tell me the logic in that. Because I, for the life of me, cannot see that. And I think he's been extremely, extremely badly advised. And he needs to go and sort it out. Listen, that's their problem. That's the but he needs to sort himself out.
What do you believe he'll do if he's successful?
He'll go
in
fight Billy. What will he do? I don't know. What is he? Maybe go and defend it again. But the only way he's going to get a shot at the world title now. Remember, he's been stripped of where he was. He's supposed to have fought Jacobs. Why didn't he fight Jacobs? He was the interim champion. Why did he go and fight him? He didn't fight him. Why has he fought Billy Joe Saunders? He hasn't fought him. But he's going to fight Nick Blackwell for the British title. Now that tells me a lot. You know, a lot about him.
What are the other options for Billy Joe, Frank?
Well, there are quite a few in there, and we're working on a couple of things. Unfortunately, I can't sort of discuss them at the moment, but we're working hard because he's going to have a big fight in the summer, and hopefully we'll have all that sorted out very, very quick within the next few days. He'll have a fight in between, so I'm hoping to get him out in April. He was originally going to fight in Dublin, I think it was the 30th of April. We were going to do a show there, but for obvious reasons, we can't do that at the moment. So we've got to find another venue. We're sort of struggling a bit to find one, but I'll have it all sorted out. And I've got to keep him active and keep him busy.
Is there a possibility you may, because I was thinking about this whole Liam Smith situation with Jimmy Kelly, that you may sort of use one of the fighters in your own stable as a defence for him?
Well, I haven't got a problem doing that.
Yeah.
Well, you know, look what's we
Are you
done.
Tommy Langford?
Over the years, we've made fights with any guys that we're in. That's what boxing's about. You know, you only got to look at how many. I don't think there isn't anybody that I've been involved. They're top of the game. You've got, you put a Ben in with a Collins. You put a Collins in with. Put a Eubank in with Kawasaki. I've done all those things over the years. Kawasaki, over the years fought people like Richie Woodall. He fought Robin Reed. We made the fights. I have not got a problem making a fight. It's not the end of the world. Somebody loses a fight. There's a winner and there's a loser. Occasionally you get a draw, but it's how you lose. And nobody can say I'll walk away from fighters who've lost. I mean, Derek Chisora. How many fights did he lose? You think about it, fights that he lost, and I kept getting him back in the game again. I'm not a big believer in that's the end of the world when you get beat. Some people think it is, but that's not for me.
Well, I mean, just going back to what I just said there, I mean, you've got an unbeaten middleweight, 15, 16, and I believe Tommy Langford is. Would he be ready for something like Billy Joe Saunders? To
be quite honest, and it's not doing disrespect for him, he's fighting Lewis Taylor, and that's up on
for the
show.
Commonwealth, I believe?
Yeah, for the Commonwealth, and the Intercontinental title as well. He's fighting on there. And he just needs a bit more experience. Would he fight him? He'd fight him in a heartbeat. He's got a great amateur pedigree. You know the fighters he's beaten as an amateur. I mean, he's got some good scouts on his belt. Callum Smith, for example, he beat him as an amateur. So he's not far off of fighting for a title. I'm certainly he'll fight for a world title, hopefully sometime this year. Whether it's the next one, I doubt it. I doubt it at the moment. But let's see what he looks like in Liverpool on the 12th of March.
I mean, people have their opinions about whether fighters are ready to sort of make that leap up to world level, but sometimes it's about opportunity.
Well, it is. That's my job. you talked about Jimmy Kelly. You talked about him, and again, he had no problem. He jumped in with Liam Smith. I think he learnt from that fight. Liam's a good fighter, and maybe it was a little, it was a bit too much of a jump for him. But I'll tell you what, he didn't come out of that fight with any disgrace. He actually showed some good about him, and I'm sort of can't wait for him to get back in the ring. We were talking about it last week. He's going to be back in April. We're getting back in the swing. He's a good fighter, and fighters can learn. You can learn from a defeat.
There's a lot of talk at the moment about Anthony Joshua potentially fighting the IBF world champion Charles Martin. I think Eddie Hearn's confirmed that they're in talks over that fight for April. Anthony Joshua's 15-0, and obviously Charles Martin, I believe, is 22-0, undefeated, suffered one draw in his career. What do you think about that? Is that an opportunity that Anthony Joshua should take?
What's he got to lose? Take the fight. He's got nothing to lose, has he? If he wants to take it, would I take it? I'm not sure. But Leon Spinks won the Olympics and then fought Muhammad Ali in his ninth. Was it his ninth fight? I think it might have been less than that. We've seen lots of guys do that. Anthony Joshua won a gold medal in the Olympic Games. He was the runner-up in the World Amateur Championships. He's got a great amateur pedigree. Dylan White's the best guy he's fought, and I'm not taking anything away from Dylan. He's a proper, boxer through and through. Comes to fight, but he's at a level. And we've had the conversation of what did he look like in his last fight, and you can see the flaws there. Charles Martin, he's not a bad fighter, but like all these guys, they get on the whiskers, they can go. So it's who gets clipped first out of that. But it won't be easy for him, and it'll say a lot about him if he does take it. If they're trying to get that on in April, him fighting for a world title, is it April 9th?
I believe so.
Why would you put... Anthony Joshua fighting a world title, you've got to think promoter-wise. Anthony Joshua, that's going to be a football stadium, isn't it? So it ain't going to happen. They ain't going to put that on into some little small venue, are they, on April the 9th? It sounds good, and they may talk about it, and they may talk about doing it for the future, but let's be realistic. You would put that in a football stadium. He sells, he does well, he gets good, he's got a good following, Anthony Joshua. I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. I think news is imminent on that situation, so we'll have to wait and see. But obviously regarding BoxNation, a lot of good fights being added to BoxNation every week. Terence Crawford coming up against Hank Lundy.
I'm looking forward to that.
One of your favourite fighters. Why don't you just try and do a deal with Top Rank, get him over Ref Rank?
I would like to do something with Terence Crawford. Bob Arum's he's a great promoter. He's been around a long time, 85 years of age, would you believe? He's I'm a toy boy compared with him. And he's like, when you look at him, and look what the vision that he's got and the way he operates in the world, you've got to really, really respect that. And what he's done with Terence Crawford is brilliant. He's built him. He's taken him to his hometown, a place where I don't believe had hardly any professional boxing, and he's turned him into a big attraction there. And he's going to be the next big American star.
You've been saying that for a while.
Yeah,
so.
and he will be. He's a good fighter. He's a very good fighter, and he's a good fighter to watch. For me, I like the boxing, and I like watching. He's got a good boxing brain, and I think he's one of the top two in the world.
Another fight coming up April 9th is Pacquiao, and what's kind of been billed as his swan song.
Yeah.
It's a Bradley Part 3.
Yeah.
Is that a fight that appeals to you?
Yeah, I think it's a good fight. It's a fight. If it is his sort of goodbye, then that's what it is. It's his goodbye, and he'll be gone. But I do like him, and Pacquiao's been a great servant. He's been for the game. He's been a great ambassador for the sport. If it's his final fight, I'm sure it'll be well received. It's a tough fight for a final fight, but it is what it is.
So obviously, apart from the March 12th Echo show, what domestically have you got coming up?
Well, we're working on quite a few things. We've got April the 2nd, we've got Liam Williams in with Nav Masuri, which I think is a good little fight, and the winner of that's going to fight Kokorian. So decent
Takes a little fight there.
Yeah, proper fights. That's what I'm saying. You asked me earlier about our guys fighting each other. Well, that's what we're doing. So we're getting that together. That's on. I think your call. We got Tom Baker fighting against Jack Morris. That's
for an English title.
English title, yeah. I mean, it's a small, but we're working on a big show for the end of April, and another one in May. So Billy Joe, Liam Smith, we've got to get sorted out. They'll be fighting, and then they're going to have big fights. Right, they come through a big fight, which we're working on at the moment for after the Euro Championships. So we've got a couple of things we're working on now.
Obviously, I was going to come on to Liam Smith. Obviously, defending his title back in December.
Well, we were very close to doing the Alvarez fight for him, and it nearly happened, but unfortunately we couldn't get it done. And obviously HBO have got the situation with Amir Khan that they've been showing his fights and so forth. So for them, that was a no-brainer.
What's the situation regarding Frank Buglioni? I understand he's going to move up a weight as well.
Well, he's moving up light heavyweight. We had a conversation. We're trying to sort out a new deal, and hopefully we will, or we won't get that done in the next couple of days. Okay,
but obviously a lot of your sort of other fighters like Mitchell Smith and that will be looking to return.
Mitchell's coming back. You know, as you know, he's had a hand injury. We've got a lot of our guys. I want to get Paul Butler's the Conlon fight. They've got it at number. I think they're number 2 and 3 now in WBO. So hopefully we can get that as a final eliminator for the world title. If the champion vacates, it'd be great to get it for the vacant title. But whatever happens, those two will fight for the final eliminator, and that fight will probably now take place in the UK.
Okay. All right. Well, listen. I'm sure we'll catch up next week again. But is anything else you want to add?
What do I want to add? No, I think we've done most of it. Virginder Singh, we've just done a great deal with Star in India, which, you know, they've got 160 million platform viewers, so his fights now will be shown live in India on Star, and he'll be stepping up in in the next few fights. And we'll get him in. He's a good fighter.
He's next on the March the 12th bill as well.
Yeah, he's on the show. So Paul Butler's on the show. We've got some good fights. Tommy Langford. It's a good show. Stephen Lewis, who's been out for a while, he's on. So
Ryan Farag as well.
Ryan Farag, yeah. So it's a good show. It's a real good value for money show.
Looking forward to it. All right, Frank. Well, listen. Thank you very much for talking to IFL TV, and I'm sure we'll catch up in due course.
What's up, man?